Hi everyone, my name's Annalise and this is my presentation on age-appropriate expectations. So classroom expectations, so I do volunteer in a 3 and 4-year-old class, and this is kind of just a list of the expectations we have. The kids are expected to keep their belongings in their cubbies so that when they arrive, they put their backpacks and water bottles in their assigned cubbies. The kids are expected to raise their hands if they have any questions during group times or anything like that. The kids are expected to put away any material or toy that they use back in its original place. And the kids are encouraged and expected to wash their hands often. So before meals, after playing outside or at a center, after the bathroom, especially, things like that. And walking inside of the classroom is a big one. A lot of the kids like to run, so I'm just making sure they're walking instead of running. I know the term walking feet is something we as early educators use often. Being patient and taking turns with other classmates, that is expected, and listening when the teacher is talking. So, making sure no one's talking while the teacher's talking. And many of the classroom rules are similar to the ones in most classrooms, including the one from the video in our learning materials of Module 4. So the student age group I do volunteer with, they are 3 and 4. They're between the ages of newly 3 and newly 4-year-olds. So 4-year-olds who are about to be 5 are not in the class, and then 2-year-olds or 3-year-olds who are about to be 4 are in. So it's a mix of 3 and 4. And then in California, the student ratio for preschool age is 1 to 8. There are 2 teachers in the classroom. There's a lead and then just a regular teacher. There's 14 kids, and normally there's 14, but 3 days out of the week there's only 12 because 2 of the kids are part-time. Play and routine expectations. So the first expectation would be taking turns and sharing all of the toys slash materials. Expectation 2 is cleaning up after ourselves and washing our hands after playing and using the bathroom. And expectation number 3 is keeping our hands and feet to ourselves at all times, using our words instead of using our hands. So something that we say in the classroom is catch a bubble and then hands in the lap, or catch a bubble in your mouth. So you're like, the kid will go like that, and that means that they can't talk. Of course, it's pretend. And expectation 4 is listen when someone else is talking. So that kind of touches on taking turns. This is an actual picture of my classroom. There's a few different tables just to fit all of the kids. There's some artwork hanging up. I didn't really get the best pictures. The classroom is a little updated now. I wasn't able to get in this week, so this is what I have. It is a little older. Here are 2 more photos, different angles. The preschool I do volunteer at is religious, so they are Christian. So you'll see some crosses and words like Bible and Jesus and stuff like that. Age appropriateness of expectations. So the first expectation, this one, the taking turns and sharing all toys. This touches on the approach to the learning domain. So children appropriately handles and takes care of classroom materials. So this is appropriate for this age group. And it also touches on social and emotional development, so relationships with other children. Expectation number 2 touches on preschooler perceptual, motor, and physical development domain. The subdomain would be health, safety, and nutrition. So, child demonstrates personal hygiene and self-care skills. Expectation number 3, keeping our hands and feet to ourselves. So, this one touches on the social and emotional development domain. The subdomain would be relationships with others. So, the children using basics, problem-solving skills to resolve conflict with other children. And the last expectation, listening when someone is talking. This one touches on the preschooler approaches to learning domain. The subdomain would be emotional and behavioral self-regulation. Improvements for age appropriateness. So one thing I would propose is the wording for the expectations. As you can see in my original expectations, they are a little bit wordy and lengthy. I feel that 3-year-olds respond better to like simple, concrete, and positive wording. So for the first expectation, the way I would revise that one, I would put, instead of taking turns and sharing all toys and materials, I would kind of simplify that into we take turns and share with our friends. The second expectation, instead of saying cleaning up after ourselves and washing our hands after playing and using the bathroom, as you can see, that was already a mouthful. So I would kind of tweak that one and change it to we clean up our toys and wash our hands to stay healthy. So it's providing a why for the children. So, like, why this is why we wash our hands and this is why we pick up after ourselves. And the third expectation is keeping our hands and feet to ourselves at all times. So instead of saying that, I would say we use gentle hands and quiet bodies. And then I would break that one into two. The second part would be we use words, not hands, when we have big feelings. Um, the reason I put this into two is because it makes it easier for the children to understand, because at all times and just that whole long sentence might be a little difficult for small children. And that last expectation is expectation 4. Listen when someone else is talking. This touches on taking turns. I would revise that one into we listen when it's someone else's turn to talk. Communication of expectations. So like I said, I wasn't able to get in the class this week, but these are pretty close to what we have hanging up on the wall. Uh, these are just some visuals that we have, and these are put at eye level for the children. So instead of an adult's eye level, they're at little people level. And the expectations are gone over every day during circle time, which is usually in the morning. So like after morning greetings and stuff like that, we as in they, the teachers will go over what's expected of that day. And they do this every day, and with the repetition, that kind of helps the kids remember more and they know what to expect when it comes to the expectations. These are easy to view and they're accessible for the children to look at any time of the day. And yeah, this is how the expectations are communicated through daily routine and repetition. Appropriateness of communication. So I do feel that the expectations in the classroom for the 3 and 4-year-olds are appropriate. The hand washing expectation is very important because I feel that it not only supports self care in children, in young children, but it also encourages independence and demonstrates the ability for young children to start taking responsibility. So, of course, we're always going to be there to help them, right? And just guide them and kind of just be behind them to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to. But this does definitely boost their independence. And the main change I would make, like I mentioned earlier, is just simplifying the actual rules and expectations on the chart. So just kind of simplifying those and making them a little bit easier for the kids to understand. And when it comes to cultural and family values, these are a few quotes I took from one of the articles that we were encouraged to read. I think it's important as early childhood educators to understand that each child comes from a different background. And we want to make sure that a normal day at school may not be a normal day for them at home due to their environment and the culture. So we want to make sure that we're able to adapt and be flexible with every child. Thank you.